This is Sparta!
Broadcasting live from WOYK's downtown studios at Santander Stadium. Talking York's home teams. Welcome to York College Spartan Sports Weekly on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK. Now, here are your hosts of Spartan Sports Weekly, Darrell Henry and Scott Guise.
Championship weekend at the Grumbacher Center. The Spartans a combined 8-0 in men's and women's basketball. As we welcome you to this edition of York College Spartan Sports Weekly. Scott, they are doing a little bit better than our NFL teams these days.
They're doing a lot better than our NFL teams. It is, if you would ask us, or if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago what I thought our combined record would be, I think you would have had me drug tested if I would have said 8-0. But, credit to both of our teams. Are playing pretty well. You know, we've had a couple games, especially this weekend, that weren't exactly the most work of arts, shall we say, or the prettiest, but they were effective. And I think this weekend will go a long way in helping this team, these teams actually be really good for the rest of the year and continue to play well. And 4-0 is in the big scheme of things, it's not even a fifth of your season yet. So there's a long way to go. But the things that we've seen in the last 2 weeks are very promising on both sides for the men and for the women.
Well, we are back in studio here today. Surprisingly, nothing went wrong with the live show last week.
No, and actually there were people that watched it on YCPSpartans.com.
Oh, no.
There were like 35 people that watched. I pulled up that number and I was stunned. So
they had to see us too?
Yeah, I still think we have faces made for radio, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That confirmed that. But, we'll start with the men's team, Scott, and the Friday win against Wilson was a little bit... Well, and actually, going back to last week, we have 3 games to talk about, but a very impressive win over Gettysburg. And then Friday, the Wilson game was closer than anybody would have thought just looking at it on paper, with Wilson being a startup program. But if there was any doubt about the way that the Spartans won that game on Friday night, if you want to look at it that closely, they really came out and they got back to their defensive ways on Saturday against a pretty good and veteran McDaniel team. And really, I mean, that's early on this season, that's been the identity of this group. 58-52 was the final on Saturday.
Yeah, I'd actually like to go back to Monday. I thought the game against Gettysburg in the home opener was really big, because I think there were some people out there questioning, well, Stevenson, they've lost some people. You go down there and you post a win, and which is great, but I got the feeling that, well, Gettysburg's coming to town, a Centennial Conference team. It's going to be a lot tougher sledding. I thought we played really well. I thought the best game that we've played so far this year was against Gettysburg. It was as impressive a performance overall as I've seen from our men's team in a while. And you look at the balance with that game. Dalton Myers, 15 points, 7 rebounds. Matt Scamuffo, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Chris Conway, 11 points, 3 rebounds. Blade Reich had 7 points, 4 rebounds. Very balanced in the effort that they got from the team. They shot 47% from the field, held Gettysburg to 28.8% shooting, including 3 for 23 from 3, which, you do that to Gettysburg, you're having an opportunity to be to have a lot of success. So, I think that kind of, each game that this team wins, I think there's a level of growing confidence. I think right now they feel really good about themselves. But they have to be careful each and every game, one game at a time. The coach talks about the process all the time. They have to go out tomorrow night at Messiah and play well if they expect to win. So I think it's just a growing level of confidence. You see this team developing. You see certain people developing. One of the things I think I turned to you and said yesterday, or on Saturday, is to watch a guy like Zach Galick continue to get more confident. The guy physically is as good an athlete as we have on our team. And now you see him start, he's shooting that 15-foot jumper with accuracy. When he gets a rebound, he's way above the rim. So you just see guys like that. Blade Reich had a great weekend, and obviously Dalton was the MVP of the tournament. So, I think you see a lot of parts that are, when you put them all together, are pretty impressive. And I think that is what this program's all about. It's about not having one guy who's the star, but having a collective group of players who play great together and who continue to be a team, which I think that's, they are quickly proving that they, all together are a force to be reckoned with.
And yet on any given night, you have several guys who, could play like stars within that game. And Dalton Myers is as close to one as there is around.
The one thing about Dalton is you look at him and, he's a big, strong kid. He is really, really skilled. You watch him with either hand. He can finish around the basket. His ability to carve out a position in the post is outstanding. Mm-hmm. He can shoot the ball from the perimeter. I don't think that's Coach wants a ton of that, but he has the ability to do that, so you have to respect that. And first and foremost, he's a great kid. Like, he's just the kind of guy that you want to be the face of your program or to be a leader for your program because he just gets it and he understands it. He's a smart kid. He does really well in school. Yeah, he is the guy when you look back at it after 10 years from now, he's going to probably be one of the guys you remember as being one of the best that's played at York College over the course of time. He's going to be. I think he's that good. So and he just fits in with these guys. Like, he doesn't. I don't think Dalton sees himself as a superstar. Yeah. I think he just sees himself as one of the guys who, it's important for him to play well because, we need him and he's one of our best players. But he does not carry himself like that, like he thinks he's that. He just carries himself as one of the guys. I'm out on the floor playing and just playing for each other. So I think that's, one of the really cool things about Dalton.
No, very true. Well, after the win on Saturday, we caught up with head coach Matt Hunter, got his thoughts on things post-game.
Spartans win it 58-52. Head coach Matt Hunter joins us post-game. Matt, did we keep you? I had a lot of questions for Chris there.
No, we're good. We're good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, first thing, I saw your daughters wanted to run out in the women's warm-up line today.
Yeah, they're getting ready. They're a little young, but they'll be tapping glass before long.
Well, this win, very much a defensive style again and gritty. The effort was outstanding. How proud are you of the way that your team got this one done today?
Yeah, we just we are who we are. I think I told you after the Stevenson game, we're ugly. And we were ugly today, but ugly for us is a good thing. So we'll take it.
I know, Dalton didn't play as much early on as you'd like. He had a couple of fouls himself, but the job that he did, getting the guys on McDaniel's side in foul trouble, the guys that were supposed to go against him today, how big was that in this game?
Yeah, with the way they're supposed to officiate the game now, the points of emphasis and that kind of stuff, they're supposed to call that, and he does a really good job establishing position, and he earns those calls, and that's a big boon for our team. Gets us to the free throw line and gets everybody else there. So just our style of play is pretty physical offensively, and a lot of guys kind of clutch and grab and that kind of stuff.
You had offensively 5 threes as a team, but it felt like all 5 of them were really big. And looking at the stat sheet, you had 4 different players that made those too. That was pretty good.
Yeah, we did hit some timely shots. You're right. They made a couple little runs at us there, and each time we answered, which is the sign of a gritty team, a tough team, and those are the teams that come out victorious.
And defensively, speaking of threes, McDaniel just 3 for 22. And every time Brooks had it, I looked down and it looks like it seemed like it was always Gaelic who was lurking or somebody big. The switching style on the perimeter, is that a tough thing for the guys to grasp in general? Is that a tough defense to teach? And is that something that they've really gotten the hang of quickly?
Yeah, it's something that the guys buy into because it's been effective. It's hard to sell guys on things that aren't turning around and working for you. So it's working, and we're playing really good defense, and the guys enjoy it. It really kind of brings out that toughness nature within our team, and we've just done a really good job of establishing an identity.
How was the energy on the bench behind you today? It seemed like every play those guys were up, and what does that do for the team in general, and even the guys that are out at the court at that time?
Yeah, I think these back-to-back games, not always won by the best team or the most prepared team. They're won by the team that has the most energy and plays with the most passion. And that's what I told our guys pregame. And we did a really good job of that, and we were really into the game, whether we were on the floor or off the floor. And that's something else that needs to be a calling card of who we are.
I know every win's gratifying, but I'm sure to hoist a trophy with the home crowd here today, that had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, and you know, my dad there as a cancer survivor giving out the trophy. I mean, that's a special moment, and you know, that's something that you do remember. And as focused as we are, as one thing at a time, at some point I'll look back and enjoy that.
Well, looking ahead, as I'm sure you'll be doing soon, you have Messiah coming up on Tuesday night. What kind of challenge will that be?
I don't know too much. We haven't really looked ahead. You know, obviously they've been a very good team, very good program, and it's another really good test for our team. So again, we'll present a different type of challenge, as they typically play a different way offensively. So we'll just kind of adjust and be ready to go on Tuesday.
All right, Matt, we're looking forward to it. We'll be there. Thanks very much for joining us post-game, and congratulations on being 1-0 again today.
Thank you, Darrell. I appreciate you buying into the process here.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. He will not talk about the overall record. They just want to be 1-0 every day. And he acknowledges that one of his biggest jobs is to keep the guys grounded and to keep them, you know, working and playing as hard as they have done so already.
Oh, he embraces that.
Yes,
you know,
does.
and I think that's really good. You know, I think when we had really good teams with Coach Gamber, it was the same way. It was one day at a time. We're going to go out and we're going to work hard in practice. We're going to get better. We're going to improve. And then when it's time to play the game, that day's game is the most important thing we have. And I think that attitude is what is going to help us be successful, because these guys, they have to work their tails off to win. This is not a team you look at and go, whew, man, we're just so talented across the board that we can just roll the ball out and play. That's not the case with this team. We have to work hard. We have to play together. I've been so impressed with how hard we played defensively. And it was obvious. You know, I didn't think we played real well against Wilson. We played good enough to win, but didn't play with the defensive intensity. And then I thought Saturday came out in the championship game and looked great. And McDaniel's a good team. They're big, they're strong, they're physical, a typical Centennial Conference team. To go out and do what we did against them in terms of holding them down, held Gettysburg down, you know, defensively, this is a good group. And the way we play defense, guys have bought in and understand that it works. And if you play it the right way and you make your switches and you bust your tail to get out and cover shooters, you have a chance to hold teams down. And the one area I think that probably is underappreciated is the fact that how well we're rebounding the ball. You know, we're able to really send 5 guys to the glass on the defensive end and give ourselves a chance to limit teams to one shot. You know, I thought that was key against Stevenson. I thought that was key against Gettysburg. I thought that was key against McDaniel. You know, we got hurt a little bit in the Wilson game because of the fact they got some second chances in that contest, which, you know, it was when you're giving teams extra possessions, you know, it's harder to play defense. You know, we gave up 10 offensive rebounds to Wilson, you know, and that was for them. There were some long rebounds, long missed threes. I think when you see the offensive rebounds we give up, a lot of times it is off those long missed 3-point shots, because that's one of the toughest things to rebound, because you know your instinct is to go to the glass. Well, sometimes those things just come carrying them off, and you watch it go over your head. And, you know, sometimes that's tough. But, you know, I think that as long as they continue to defend and take care of the ball, you know, that's another aspect that's been really good. We've taken really good care of the basketball over the first 4 games. And, you know, if they continue to do that, I think that maximizes not only maximizes, you know, possessions, but it gives you more chances. The way this team shoots the ball, this team has the ability to shoot at a good percentage. Well, if we get more possessions, we're going to score more points. So I think that's a really key thing too. So, yeah, what a great start to the season. Obviously, if we can go in 5-0 with a win over Messiah heading into conference play, that would be huge. But, you know, I think there's a lot of positive things regardless of Tuesday night's outcome that, you know, we can certainly carry into conference play next Wednesday.
Well, we'll have it for you tomorrow night at Messiah, 6:45 airtime, a 7 p.m. tip. And Scott, you'll be in the chair next to me, correct?
I will be. I don't know if that encourages people to want to listen or not. I'm not quite sure.
Well, looking forward to it as the Spartans play one more before Thanksgiving and then 8 days off until conference play begins next Wednesday, December 2nd, a home doubleheader against Wesley at 6 and 8. The 6 p.m. game will be the women. They're 4-0 as well, and that game on Wednesday, December 2nd, will be their next game. They get to bask in the glow for a little bit of their championship from yesterday, and we'll discuss that coming up. And Sam Ruse, tournament MVP, we'll have that interview with her as well. Stay tuned. You're listening to York College Spartan Sports Weekly. And by the way, tonight, taking you up to Washington Capitals hockey, hosting Edmonton at 6:45, and then at the end of the Caps game, we'll join the Sixers and Timberwolves in progress from Minneapolis. So keep it right here. More after this here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Hey, Dad, what's with all these papers and stuff?
Well, you're starting college in 2 weeks, and I'm doing some homework, cramming to find a college loan to pay the rest of your tuition. I'm afraid it's going to be an all-nighter, honey.
I wanted to talk to you about that, Dad. I think a student choice loan with York Educational FCU would be the best way to go.
YEFCU? We got a mortgage through them. Great rate, and I love the fact that they have free bill payer, but student loan?
Yeah, YEFCU student choice loan pays for my cost of attendance at York College or most other four-year schools, minus the financial aid I already received. The student choice loan would take care of tuition, books, room and board, all that stuff. But the best part is that YEFCU student choice loan is a one-time application. That means next year, I just tell them how much I need, and they'll disperse the money right to the school.
So we don't have to reapply every year?
Nope. So step away from the homework, Dad. A student choice loan is the best move we can make.
So we're not staying up all night? Oh, did I ever tell you about the night I did an entire term paper in one night with an old typewriter and no correction ribbon?
What's a typewriter?
York Educational Federal Credit Union, 1601 South Queen Street, York. Apply online at yefcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Blazing fast service for all of your wipeouts. OSS Health Urgent Care will take care of all of your muscular and skeletal sprains, pops, twists, and breaks in minutes, not hours. Open 7 days a week for your urgent orthopedic needs. Now at 2 convenient locations, 1855 Powder Mill Road in York and 856 Century Drive in Mechanicsburg. Visit us online at osshealth.com. OSS Health Urgent Care. Experience you can trust.
Security in life isn't something you just wish for. You build it with a strong financial plan. Start with Northwestern Mutual. Together, we'll design a disciplined and balanced approach to financial security, because reaching your goals is something we both want to work toward. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on the Square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey athletes, does the winter weather dampen your sports training? It doesn't have to. Take your game inside at Backyard University, York's spectacular indoor sports training facility, right at home in your backyard. Located inside Fairmont Gym at 201 South Charles Street in Redline, Backyard University is a beautiful, state-of-the-art indoor complex for all of your sport needs. Featuring a complete baseball and softball training complex with batting cages, pitching tunnels, and a turf field for the entire team, Backyard hosts camps, clinics, and competitive youth travel teams to play in the region's top tournaments. Join York Revolution greats Jason Espedo, Darrell Harang, and Corey Thurman for one-on-one training. And take your speed and agility to a whole new level with professional trainer David Brixius from Explosive Sports Performance. Play your game year-round at Backyard University, right at home in your backyard. Visit online at backyard-university.com.
Your home for York's home team. The York College Spartans play here. Sports Radio 1350, WOYK, York.
Sports Weekly continues as we talk about the basketball weekend that was, and pretty awesome, Scott. I mean, for both of them to be 4-0, for them to both win the Coaches versus Cancer tournament at home, it's a great annual tradition. They both had the trophy and the team picture, and same matchup too in the championship game.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual. We had gone back and looked when the last time both teams had won. and it was 2008 was the last time that both teams won the Coaches versus Cancer Championship. So it was pretty cool to see that, and pretty cool to see it against the same opponent, and it was just something that was pretty neat. So we were Derek actually did a little research and found that out. So it was.
You say it like you're surprised that he did any research.
No, he's great. No, are you kidding me? He's great at that stuff. In fact, if he's created a lot of stuff. If you look at our Instagram account, it really has taken off, and a lot of that is credit to Derek. He does an amazing job with that stuff, and when you're old like I am, you realize that you're maybe not as young and hip as you used to be, and he's really in touch with that stuff and really does a great job. So I'm very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate to have a partner in the office who does the work that he does. So it's a lot of fun. So yeah. Anyhow, it was really neat to see the enthusiasm in the gym all weekend. I mean, I thought we had pretty good crowds all weekend for our games. The crowd Friday night was awesome.
Oh, man.
Thanks to our men's lacrosse and men's soccer teams for filling up that baseline, and hope to see a lot of other students head out as we continue to play. We have 2 home games in the next couple of weeks before break. So we'd love to see the crowds out there and really supporting the teams. And
the teams are fun to watch.
Oh, they're fun to watch. And another thing that's really cool is there's a lot of camaraderie among our athletes, among our student athletes. You'll see, when we have students come to the game, I would say 75% of the kids who do come to games are other student athletes.
Yeah.
Which, because they know what it's like. Do you know what it's like to play in front of crowds who are into it and excited, and they want to give their other student athletes the same kind of courtesy to be able to play in front of crowds that are into it and knowledgeable and enjoy the sport. So, I'm excited to see where this goes. If we continue to play the way we're playing, what kind of crowds we can draw in the next couple weeks at home. So it'll be interesting.
How about the women yesterday with the championship game win? They've now had their second and third wins have been cruise control, but the first and fourth have been big comebacks. Opening night was a first half comeback. Yesterday, though, was coming back in overtime. They had a lead get away, and they had to deal with that adversity, but got the stops. I think we said 4 in a row in overtime, and then some big baskets as well, and gutting one out against McDaniel to win their championship also.
I think I looked over at you at one point in time and said I didn't think we deserved to win the game, especially in the second half. We weren't very good. Amazingly to me, we shot 49% from the floor and missed conservatively 8 to 10 layups.
That's like the number I was thinking.
And I say layups, they're not layups in the traditional sense, but shots close to the basket in the paint. Shots that you should probably hit 80% of the time. We're probably hitting 40% of the time. It's just we're getting great shots. But I just didn't think we took care of the ball really well. We didn't rebound as well. We didn't defend as well. I tell you what, I personally thought when we started defending in overtime, I felt much better about our chances. It didn't look good. They converted a 3-point play 14 seconds into the overtime. You're thinking, oh, no.
After a terrible opening tip.
After a terrible open. Yes, it was a terrible opening tip. But, the two teams traded baskets, and then the Spartans went on a 9-0 run. Well, it all started on the defensive end. They had 5 straight stops in overtime to turn a 1-point deficit into, I think it was at that point in time, a 9-point lead, 8-point lead, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And that all started in the defensive end. I thought the biggest play of the game came in overtime when Sam Nichols tried to cross Sam up and go in front, and Sam just poked it away, got the steal. We went down to the other end. Carly McFatridge hits 2 free throws, and then all of a sudden we're in control of the game when, quite frankly, we're up 12 points with 30 seconds left in the third quarter. They get a layup, and then we miss a shot. We go down the other end. They miss a shot. We get the rebound, and we turn it over, and they score at the horn. All of a sudden, instead of having a 12-point lead, you have an 8-point lead, and they have all the momentum going into the fourth quarter. And that's one thing that has changed. If that play would have occurred at the 10-minute mark of the second half instead of having 2 quarters, it's not as much a momentum changer. The quarters have really changed the momentum kind of feeling, because all of a sudden, we're up 8. It feels like we've given up half the lead already, and then we have to go sit and talk about it for 75 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different feeling, and especially I believe they got the possession to start the fourth quarter anyhow. So not only have they scored with a second left, and then all of a sudden they open the fourth quarter with possession, and I believe that they hit a 3-pointer to open the fourth quarter. Well, all of a sudden it's a 5-point lead. 35 seconds ago it's a 12-point lead. Yeah. So it was a huge change. We didn't take care of the ball, but I told Coach Whitman, we were talking after the game, and I made the comment, I thought that the game on Sunday might have been the best case scenario. You play really well in a half, you play not very well, almost lose the game, but then have enough fortitude to come back and win in overtime. So you get that experience of feeling like, like you talked about in the first game, they had to come back. Yep. This game, they had to come back. I mean, it would have been very easy when Smith, the point guard, hit that shot off a loose ball with 18 seconds left.
They had to come back then too, and then in overtime.
And that's Sam gets the call, makes 1 or 2 rebounds, and then we had to hold on at the end of regulation. I think Sam's free throw came with, I think it was about 6 or 7 seconds left, maybe. So they had, McDaniel has the opportunity to go down and win it too. So, a lot of really good things defensively, and it's a lot like the guys. If we defend and rebound, we're going to be just fine. In the first half, McDaniel didn't have a single offensive rebound, and we had 5 turnovers. So we're limiting their possessions. When we're on defense, we can be pretty tough. Sam's so long. Yeah. One thing that we talked about during the broadcast yesterday, if she stays on her feet and defends, there's not a whole lot of people that are going to either be able to go by her or shoot over her. She gets in trouble when she falls for the pump fakes, and it's like, Sam, if you're 6'1" and you have really long arms, just stay in a stance and be able to defend, and she'll be fine. And she'll learn. She's a really talented shot blocker, and shot blockers sometimes get in that habit of, I'm going to block everything. Well, you don't have to block everything. You have to defend, and be able to turn and rebound and box out. So, I think she continues to grow, and I thought she had an outstanding weekend, and obviously by winning the tournament MVP, she was. Actually, her and Dalton both, it was just announced, are the Capital Athletic Conference Players of the Week. So I can't tell you the last time we had a men's and women's player in the same week be the Conference Player of the Week. So it's a heck of an accomplishment. It was a heck of a weekend overall.
Awesome stuff all the way around. And the newly minted CAC Player of the Week, also our tournament MVP, Sam Ruse, joined us post-game yesterday.
Congratulations on the win today, and to get it done in overtime. I mean, you guys had to get key stop after key stop down the stretch. How much fun is it to perform in a game like that comes right down to the end?
So much fun. I can't even handle it. So much pressure, but it's nice. It's a good kind of pressure, especially when we pull it out like that.
And you had a unique assignment today going up against Lindsay Nichols and following her around. Tell us about that game plan and how you felt you performed in that role.
I mean, Lindsay's a tough player. She's a good shooter, and it was definitely a big step up that I needed to work on, and I was happy to be able to handle a good player like that, especially with that kind of shot. She can go out anywhere and drive and everything, so it was nice to be able to handle that well.
You ended up with 18 points today, but a lot of your offensive contribution was from passing the ball. What were you seeing, and what was your role, as one of the forwards stepping out and kind of stretching the floor and hitting your teammates?
I mean, my goal is to get my teammates open before me. So, I mean, it's great that I got the 18, but I'd rather get that assist number than the point number, but I like to see my teammates score a lot more than I do.
You guys made 4 huge stops in a row in overtime, and one of those was the steal that you slapped loose, and then Keeney rewards you at the other end of the floor when you went to the line. But tell us about the defensive mindset. What was said in the huddle? What was the goal? What did you guys take on the floor with you when the game was on the line and you had to get that done?
I mean, our composure is by far the best thing that I've seen now. I mean, us being able to handle ourselves in this situation, especially with those possibilities of them being able to score and win, that steal was key. And then being able to handle our emotions, calming down, getting it together, knowing that one play isn't just going to it could change everything. So
what's your mindset when you're out on a fast break and you know you're going to get hit and you know you're going to land hard?
I mean, I like to just land. I'm not very graceful, so being able to get hit and hopefully score. I mean, I missed the layup, but I'm prepared for the hit, and then I just land as best as possible.
Well, you guys seem to have so much fun together. How much fun is this group? How great are they?
They're pretty great. I mean, 18 players?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to handle, but we all seem to come together and we're pretty close as a team, which is surprising for having so many players and people that may or may not get in the game. Like, we're very close, very supportive of each other, and it's really nice to have this year.
Talking with Sam Roos here post-game, how meaningful was it for you and your teammates to have one of your own, Beth Wisely, be the presenter?
So amazing. I mean, right before the game, Coach got us all in tears by dedicating the game to her. So we all wanted to push through and show her that she fought for something.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And you guys get to enjoy the Thanksgiving break now, and that's going to make this win feel really good, knowing that you have some time off and you're going to enjoy it coming off an overtime win.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be nice to have a little break.
Well, Sam, going back home to Maryland, I'm sure, for a couple of days. Enjoy that.
Getting some extra sleep,
Extra sleep, yeah. And thank you very much for joining us here post-game, and congratulations on the big win.
Thank you.
All right, that is Sam Roos, who, as of today, is also the CAC Player of the Week. And, Scott, we heard Beth Wisely mentioned there, Coaches versus Cancer Weekend. And if you don't know the story, she is a cancer survivor herself. So as of last year, in fact, which was supposed to be her freshman year, just an amazing story. And, for her to be the one to present the plaques and the trophy and everything, that was pretty awesome. And she's dealing with a foot injury now, but she's expected to still be a big contributor later this season. That's another 6-footer that can play inside and out.
Who's really talented. I don't think we've had the opportunity to see how good Beth can be. And honestly, I'm getting chills right now thinking about the fact that what she's had to go through and the fact that that she's healthy and that she, foot injury notwithstanding, but she's healthy, she's cancer free, she's just a neat kid. She's always happy, she's always bubbly, even when she's hurt. I know
the team loves her.
Oh, well, she's a great kid. She's the kind of kid that you, as a parent, if your daughter grows up to be like Beth, you've done a really good job. And that's, I think that's one of the highest compliments you can give a kid is you want your children to grow up to be like them. And I think that's, Beth is so energetic and so positive and so happy that despite the fact that what she's gone through, she is still the same person. And I know, it bums her out that she's not able to contribute yet, but it's one of those things. We were talking a couple weeks ago, and I said, how long it's going to take her to get back and all this, and I'm like, you've been through so much. This is just a bump in the road. A foot injury, while it stinks, and I know you want to be out there playing. It really, in comparison, is just a little blip on the radar. And she agreed, and I know she's excited to get out there. I know Coach is excited to get her. I mean, her healthy, which she was not healthy last year. She could barely breathe. They didn't know what was wrong. She had no idea what was wrong until she was in church on Christmas Eve and passed out. Now, talk about scary. I mean, that's a really scary thing to have happen. But her healthy could be a really important part the second half of this season. She can be that good.
Yeah.
She might actually be a little taller than Sam. She might be the tallest player in our team, which is crazy because she has guard skills and really can play anywhere on the floor. So I think Beth could be a huge part of that. I hope she's a huge part of that because I want to see her get the opportunity to play and be a part and be a contributor on this team.
Yeah. Well, and I was happy to see her be a big part of things yesterday, even though she's not on the court yet.
Oh, it was all and it was a pretty emotional locker room. Coach, Coach said I busted out one of my good speeches. So, and really, it's such a cause that's very personal to Coach. Both her brothers have dealt with cancer, and it's such a difficult thing. Everybody, I think pretty much everybody has had somebody touched by cancer. And to have somebody in your own locker room who's had to deal with it, and to know what kind of person she is. Like, everybody loves Beth because she's Beth, and that's who she is. And I think it's really important. It was really important to the squad to go out yesterday, and while it's nice to get a championship and to win, I think it was even more special because of who got to present the trophy and really what it means to this team.
Yeah, that was awesome. Didn't realize it, but when Matt Hunter's dad presented the trophies on the men's side, he's also a cancer survivor.
Yeah, it's a pretty
home.
personal. Yeah, I don't think there's, like I said, I don't think there's too many people that haven't been touched in one way, shape, or form by cancer. So, I think it's something that can unite. Certainly our community and have people, like I said, we had great crowds all weekend. So, I think it's something that's really important to everybody and certainly important for us to, this is the 16th version of the men's tournament, the 9th version of the women's tournament. And every year, the gate proceeds all go to the American Cancer Society. So it's important for us to continue to do that from a community perspective and also from our basketball family standpoint.
No doubt. Well, it's been a tremendously fun start to the basketball season. Again, tomorrow night, we're on at 6:45. One more men's game before conference play begins. That is at Messiah. We'll take a break here on Spartan Sports Weekly. Again, we're taking you up to Caps hockey at 6:45 against the Oilers. And then later on tonight, we'll join the Sixers and Timberwolves in progress. Scott and I will break down what's coming up on the schedule over the next couple of weeks. We are actually off from the show next Monday. So with the Thanksgiving break coming up, hopefully every one of our listeners enjoys their Thanksgiving break as well. And our next Monday show will be in 2 weeks, but we'll have the upcoming Spartan Sports schedule. So stay tuned, and we'll let you know where you can find your green and white in action coming up here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
At Northwestern Mutual, we take a disciplined and balanced approach to financial planning. Together, we'll help build your financial future on time-tested principles, not market trends, so you can take advantage of life's opportunities. To learn more, contact me, Dan McGarry, at my office on a square in York. Look for the blue awnings. Who's helping you build your financial future? The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
At OSS Health, our highly trained physicians are on the field, in the training room, at home games, or away. From preseason physicals to postseason surgery, we're on the sidelines so athletes don't have to be, getting you back in the game. When it comes to sports medicine, we're the ones you've trusted for 30 years. OSS Health Sports Medicine, experience you can trust. Visit us online at osshealth.com.
Your home for the Spartans. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Last week, Scott, that was the one thing that went wrong with the live show. Was your last segment re-entry music didn't play?
That's okay. I always tell people, like when we have little things go wrong, if that's the worst thing that goes wrong today, we'll be okay. So if that was, and it turned out that if that was the worst thing that happened last Monday, we did okay.
I think it was, thinking back on it. It was a
actually,
good day.
Went pretty well. So, you didn't say any bad words on live radio, so we
Yet
were good.
again, I got through another broadcast
it's amazing.
without
the
doing
self-restraint that you have is amazing.
Well, Scott, we do have next Monday off from the program. We'll be back on, I don't know what day it'll be.
I think it'll be December 7th, I believe. Yeah. Hold on, let me pull up the calendar.
We're acknowledging the start of what is it, deer hunting season on
Monday. Sure, that's what. Yes, it will be the 7th. We will be back with everybody.
All right. I don't hunt.
I do not hunt either. I do not have enough. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't have enough patience. I don't have enough patience to sit there. I would not know what to do with myself. I would probably lose my mind. So
your 18-year-old son Shane is in here reminding you of that.
He just looks 18.
Well, we do have, like we said, we have a couple of weeks coming up, and we will have basketball broadcasts, so we'll be on air in between then. But for those that tune in on a Monday regularly, some of the highlights, Scott, of what's coming up on the schedule here the next couple weeks.
Sure. We'll open up conference play on Wednesday the 2nd. That'll be against Wesley. The women will tip at 6. Men will tip at 8. That's the 2nd. Then we'll follow on busy Saturday on the 5th. will host the Wrestling New Standard Corporation Invitational, one of the biggest tournaments in the East Coast. It's unbelievable, really, the number of teams coming, and I haven't gotten the official list yet, but the teams coming. It's always a great day of. We'll have at least 20 wrestlers who are nationally ranked. We'll likely have 5 or 6 teams that are nationally ranked. It starts at 9 a.m., runs till about 7 o'clock or so. But a great day in the M&T Bank Fieldhouse. Coach Bastress has really beefed up the quality of teams that are coming, so it's going to be kind of be an all-out brawl all day. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a college wrestling fan, there's probably not a better tournament within driving distance than the one we'll have on December 5th. At the M&T Bank Fieldhouse. Track and field, indoor track and field, will kick off at Ursinus on the 5th, and then men's and women's basketball. Darrell, you get to make a trip to Buena Vista, Virginia.
One of my favorites.
For Southern Virginia, that'll be at 1 and 3. Of course, you'll be able to catch those games on 1350 WOYK with Darrell Henry on the call.
From the barn.
I know I will be listening. And then on the 9th, it's a little past the next time we'll be on, but the women will have their non-conference game against Goucher, and then we end really the spring or the fall semester with a doubleheader on the 12th against Mary Washington, which probably in the big scheme of things will be a very important doubleheader on the 12th, and that'll be home. And that pretty much will wrap up the schedule for December until the end of the month when the teams will travel to Williamsport. You'll get a nice trip to Williamsport. I might even make a trip to Williamsport. We'll see.
Nice.
But it's going to be a good 2 weeks of play yet after Thanksgiving, so it'll be a lot of fun to see how we can end up. Where are we sitting on December 12th? I think it'll be a very interesting question. I'd be stunned if we'd be still undefeated, to be quite honest, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And if we're in that position at the end of December, we could have a little bit more fun than what we even thought sitting here today. So Who knows? I think the important thing is both of these teams, as young as they are, you think about how young these teams are. Women's basketball has Alia and Julianne Lambert as the seniors. The men have Chris Conway as the senior. So you have 2 8-0 or 2 4-0 teams right now who have a combined 3 seniors. That's mind-blowing to me that we are as young as we are and are playing as well as we are. So I think it's very exciting, regardless of what happens in the next couple weeks. If we continue to play, I think both teams, you continue to defend, you continue to rebound, you're going to have chances to win because offensively you're going to be good enough to be able to compete if you do those other 2 things right.
Well, it's definitely been a very fun start. And Scott, about a minute to go. Wrestling performed over the weekend.
Wrestling
as well.
went, not to shortchange those guys. They had a good weekend. They went up to Alliance, Ohio to compete in the Mount Union duels. They lost to Mount Union, who's 15th in the country. They beat Heidelberg, who's 28th in the country. Lost a tight one to Baldwin Wallace, who's 14th in the country. And then beat Washington and Jefferson as they are now 4-5 in the dual meet season. I kind of think it's more like 4-3 because they wrestled Navy those 2 first dual meets of the year. But I know they're looking forward to getting to the new standard. They have a couple days off now to kind of recoup a little bit and get ready for that. And poor wrestlers. I always feel bad for our wrestlers because at Thanksgiving time, what does everyone want to do? Everybody wants to eat. Well, when you're a wrestler, you don't really have the opportunity to indulge quite so much. So, I hope those guys. I hope those guys have a great holiday, and certainly, it's a lot of. I think we're going to have a really good result at New Standard, and that'll carry us. That's the only meet in December for the team, so they're going to gear up for that and be ready to go. And I would be stunned if we didn't have some really good performances at that invitational.
All right, sounds good. We'll have much more wrestling coverage on future programs as well, and. Scott, thank you very much. It's been a fun Monday here in studio, and we'll talk to everyone from Old Brubaker Auditorium tomorrow night at 6:45.
The good Lord willing, and I don't hit any deer, so that's the hope. Yeah, we'll talk to you tomorrow night.
Do a little history with that on the way to Messiah.
We'll go into that tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Hopefully we won't need an hour and a half pregame like that one time. This has been your College Spartan Sports Weekly. Stay tuned. Caps Hockey is next here on Sports Radio 1350 WOYK.
Your home for York's home team. The York College Spartans play here. Sports Radio 1350 WOYK, York.